Hello Elvis fans, welcome back. Let's dig a little deeper into Elvis Decoded. But before we get started, it's important to note here that when somebody lies, it's scientifically proven that they will add extra details to make it sound like they know what they're talking about. So let's get into Elvis Decoded, another little section here. What book was Elvis reading when he supposedly died? Alright. On one account, it is The Scientific Search for the Face of Jesus. And they say this book was clutched in his hands, on one story. Now, there's also a story that says Elvis was found with his face in his hands, as though he was protecting himself from his face from the fall. But in this account, he had a book clutched in his hands. Now this completely contradicts everything about how his hands could have been under his face. But anyway, one account says it was the Shroud of Turin. Ginger just says it's a book. She actually had different stories. One of them was that Elvis was reading a book on religion or psychology. She was not specific. Billy Smith says Elvis was reading The Scientific Search for the Face of Jesus. But how would he have known that? Why would he have even guessed what book Elvis was reading? Elvis supposedly went into the bathroom to read at about 9 o'clock, 9 a.m. But there are other accounts on that story too. One says it was just a book called The Face of Jesus. Dan Warlick says he saw a book on sex and astrology. Now, here's an account that's really way off that I have not heard, and that is Elvis entered the bathroom at 6 o'clock a.m. with the search for the face of Jesus. Now, I don't know where 6 a.m. came from. Billy Smith says that he did not leave Elvis's bedroom until 7:30 or 7:45. And Ginger says Elvis entered the bathroom around 9 o'clock a.m. Of course, at 9:30 a.m., we know that Elvis signed for a special delivery package from Paul Lichter. And at 10 a.m., he was seen picking up the newspaper. So, if he went into the bathroom to read at 9 a.m., he could have went down the back staircase from his bathroom. So maybe he wasn't in there reading the whole time. Ginger, in a different story, says it was a book on sex and psychic energy. David Stanley says it was The Shroud of Turin. if you see where I'm going with this, wouldn't people have just said, if the story was true, Elvis went into the bathroom to read, he had a heart attack, and he was found holding a book. Why all of the details of exact title of the book? See, that's where lying comes in. Adding details. Make it sound like you know what you're talking about. The problem is, none of these stories match each other. The people did not, all of these people apparently did not talk to each other and say, hey, let's say it was this book. They all just picked a title, hoping no one else would pick a title, I guess. I guess they were hoping everybody else would just say, hey, he was found with a book. So, I don't know. But you see where I'm going with this. There are several accounts that say it was the scientific search for the face of Jesus. Now, I'm not sure why there are 3 or 4 different accounts of this book mentioned. The most common story, the most common book mentioned is the Shroud of Turin. The Shroud of Turin had not been published yet. So, okay, so we know that one's out. We know that was not the book, even though most accounts say the Shroud of Turin. The book had not been published yet on August 16th, 1977. And you can look that up on Amazon. Look at what year that book came out. We have so many different, I mean, that one day, or day and a half, starting with August 15th, there's like 1,000 different stories of what book he was reading. Where he was sitting. Was he in his black lounge chair? Or was he on the commode? What color were his pajamas? Somehow or another, Patrick Lacey takes all of these discrepancies, all of these different stories that don't match, and in his book, at the end of each section, he comes to a conclusion. Now, I'm not sure how he comes to a conclusion. Well, he has came to the conclusion that the book was on sex and astrology. Well, that's the least common denominator in the story. So how he came to that conclusion, I don't know. If you've got 10 people saying one thing, 10 people saying another thing, and one person saying something else, you're not exactly playing the odds when that one is the conclusion that you come to. So I'm not sure how he comes to the things he does. But as far as the pajamas, he also mentions in his book the discrepancies there, which we already know about some of them. There's one here that I wasn't aware of. There is a gold-colored silk pajama top with a blue bottom. There is solid blue silk pajamas. There's one that says green pajama bottoms. I'm not sure where that one came from. I've always heard blue or blue and yellow. One says he's wearing pajama top unbuttoned. One says no pajama top at all, just bottoms. One says bottoms, but they're pulled down like he was sitting on the commode. One says bottoms, but they were pulled up because he was sitting in his black lounge chair. People add details when they're lying. This is known. I mean, everybody I know most likely would have said Elvis went into the bathroom to read. We heard a collapse, or Ginger got up and found him when she noticed he wasn't in the bed. Have different stories on that too. But anyway, Ginger got up, went to the bathroom to check on Elvis. He had fallen off of a chair or commode. Let's say lounge chair. Elvis was found. He fell out of the lounge chair onto the floor, and he was clutching a book or laying beside a book. Why throw in all of these details? They don't matter. The only thing that matters is that they did throw them in and did not get their story straight. We have two paramedics, the Ulysses Jones and Charlie Crosby. They both said it wasn't Elvis on the floor. Now, one of them says that the body that they discovered had gray sideburns. Okay, let's think about this. Elvis was leaving on tour this day. Everybody was leaving on tour this day. Did he really wait until time to get on the plane and go on tour to color his sideburns? If you look at the picture that was taken the night before of Elvis driving home from the dentist, we're going to get into that in another video. There were no gray sideburns. They were black. So from the time he came home, which was between midnight and 2 a.m., early morning the 16th, till they found his body at, let's say 2 p.m. that afternoon, his sideburns turned gray. But he wasn't concerned enough about that to color them before he left on tour. This is a tour where he had ordered no new costumes, but he was leaving on tour. Come on, guys. Both paramedics said it was not Elvis. Lots of people questioned that it was Elvis in the coffin. Nobody can get their story straight about what happened with any detail of this. Nothing. We're only on video number 2 of this series, and I'm telling you, nobody got their story straight on anything. Elvis was not leaving on tour that day. That's why he ordered no uniforms, no new costumes. That's why. He wasn't going anywhere. He knew that. It was not Elvis that was found on the bathroom floor. Whether he was even reading a book at all is in question here. They certainly can't get it right what book he was reading. Maybe he was just in the bathroom waiting for Ginger to fall asleep so he could sneak down the back staircase, carry up another body. The body that the paramedics saw. That was not Elvis. We're going to get into a third video on this because we have to. This guy is really good at coming up with discrepancies, and how he comes to his conclusions, we'll never know. But I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for spending some time with me. Have a great day.